Have a low slope roof, they'll torch it or seal it onto the concrete block to prevent that from peeling back. You want to have metal flashing secured inside here. This is riveted in, and they have a nice sealant applied to it, so this prevents the roofing from peeling over. Sure.
How high up should the radiant barrier? Oh, because I thought that was
Yeah.
against the sun.
Yeah, that's what you see right here.
Okay.
So when you have this rubber, in Chicago, most municipalities, they consider a roof complete with the reflective coating, with the radiant barrier. So if you see it without it, somebody didn't complete the final roofing step on that.
So,
And what that does is it reflects the UV rays of the sun, so it limits some of the heat exposure that you have, and it also extends the life of the roofing material so it doesn't break down as quick.
so in Chicago, where we're like cold 8 months of the year, why do they require that? Like, I'm assuming there's something else.
Well, we're cold 8 months of the year, but we still have, we still have sunshine. This winter, it doesn't seem like we had much sunshine, but we still have the sun, and our summers will get very hot and humid.
Right.
So, without that, you'll still have the sun exposing the roof, so you'll still have the UV breakdown possibly of the roof. A lot of times we'll come in, if we don't see this reflective coating, we'll actually see alligatoring or like spider webbing of the material that's already starting to break down.
So that the sun will then crack the roofing.
Oh, right.
And then
This is designed to last 20 years, this roof,
Okay.
properly installed. And, you may not get as much as if you don't have the reflective coating on there.
Okay.
Plus, it'll help you in the summer, even though we only have, 3 months where 2-3 months where you really need the air conditioning, that heat is pretty strong. The roof tries to equalize the atmosphere or the pressure inside that roof so that your shingle is maintained. You don't build up too much heat and humidity in the attic. And there's a couple of different functions that you have that we can see right here. Underneath your roof, you have something called felt paper. It's a number 15. They can have a thicker number 30. And what they do, that's your vapor barrier.
Okay.
So when they're installing a roof in a living space, you want to have a vapor barrier. You're going to have humidity in space.
Would you include a radiant barrier
On the outside wall?
inside?
Oh, you're going to have.
On the roof? Like,
So they're putting up the insulation and they're putting up the paper because it's easiest to put it up that way in the crawl space, and they're stapling it to that area. But that's the vapor barrier. So that's actually should be facing the living space, the interior space. That's there to prevent moisture, let's see if we have a sample, from getting into this insulation. So if you reverse that, you're actually possibly trapping moisture in that insulation. So it's not.
That should face the exterior.
It should face, this paper should be towards the interior, so that's the interior face.
Oh, because the moisture would be coming from the inside.
Right, so this, how we see the insulation, there's paper on this side or plastic acting as a vapor barrier.
Oh, okay, that's the exterior. I got you.
So, that, and people don't realize, so we'll go into an attic and we'll see it facing the attic space. So, obviously we're going to recommend reversing the insulation and adding more insulation is typical. We're in the cold. Maybe they have the humidifier set too high. That humidity goes right into the attic space, and because the roof is cold, the droplets form right on the other side. Condensation, exactly. And we'll go into an attic, and we'll see mold underneath that space. So then you run into a mold issue within your attic space. And slowly that could rot out the sheathing, be it plywood or OSB strand board.
So this might kind of be a really simple question here, but if we're trying to prevent against mold and then rotting of the wood, is that like essentially what we're trying to do with the vapor barrier and all the steps that we're taking here? Yeah,
you're trying to control the climate within your attic. So, they actually have powered attic fans now that you can set them to, say, 95 degrees.